Yo, what's up, hoopheads from around the globe? I'm Eddie Aparicio. This is my co-host, Anthony Tuan Corral. This is Buzzer Beaters, and this is Warriors Talk. We are brought to you
Yes.
by Grumblings Media. You can also find us wherever you find your podcasts. Anyway, so what we're going to talk about this week, something that I brought to Tuan's attention when we
Yes.
last had lunch. So
Yeah.
a buddy of mine, he's another hoophead. He's listened to our show. He played in college. His dad played pro in the NBA, and we had a conversation years ago when the Warriors had just, were in the 2018, 2019 Warriors. This is the Kevin Durant years. Actually, this maybe his second year on the Warriors, because the third year he didn't win it because he tore his Achilles, against the Toronto Raptors. But the first two seasons when Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, they were widely considered probably one of the better overall teams the NBA has ever seen.
Yes.
And we thought at the time Kevin Durant was considered a cupcake for leaving the Oklahoma City Thunder to join a team that already had won 73 games the year before. So he
Yes.
got so much flack for that. But then
Yeah.
he ended up winning back-to-back titles and then back-to-back MVPs. The team was widely considered to be one of the best of all times. So the buddy of mine that we were talking about this, we're like, okay, the team at the time, it was Curry as the point guard, Klay Thompson as the shooting guard, Kevin Durant as the shooting guard, and then you have power forward Draymond Green, and you had the center Zaza Pachulia. But then it's their bench. Their bench was ridiculous, man. All right, they had Iguodala coming off the bench, a multi all-star guy. David West, he came off the bench. They had also had the Sean Livingston
Livingston.
that did
Yep.
very well for them. Kevon Looney, this is when he started doing all the dirty work, right? He was like the lunch pail guy. And then
Yep.
you had DeMarcus Cousins, JaVale McGee, David West. These are all players that contributed very well to this team, right? So they were pretty deep, and they just had multiple guys that played well at multiple times. They had mix and match, and they create problems, matchup problems all over the place. So the question I asked this buddy, okay, can you construct a team at that time that could take out the Warriors? And we thought and thought. He was bringing up players like, okay, James Harden is in the league at the time, and he was really good, right? Yeah, also LeBron, right? Westbrook.
Kyrie.
You had yeah, then you had Luka, you had all these. So we're thinking, can you construct a team that could beat that Warrior team? I wanted to bounce that same question off to you, bro. But think about a team that you can construct. Just a starting five, not going a 10 or 12 team, 12 player team. Just
Yeah.
starting five. Pick a starting five that you think that could beat this team back then. Think about it, man.
I'm thinking, just trying to see here, the All-Stars. So I'm thinking obviously LeBron is
Yep.
going to be one of those players.
Kawhi Leonard too. You put Kawhi Leonard in there.
Kawhi Leonard would be there. Let's see. We have Kyrie Irving. We
Yes.
have Giannis.
Yes.
We have a young Joel Embiid.
Yes. Luka was there
Uh,
too. Was there too.
Correct. We got let's see, Kyle Lowry, no. Bradley Beal, no. John Wall, no. We had a younger Victor Oladipo. He was a pretty good player.
He was.
Kevin Love, Kristaps Porzingis, Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler,
Yep.
LaMarcus Aldridge, and Karl Anthony Towns. I'm just looking at the Western and Eastern Conference All-Stars.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, based on those teams, no, I can't. I can't.
Yeah, and the reason
I can't pick a team that would beat the Warriors.
And the problem is because Warriors just had shooting galore. Okay, Curry and Durant on the same team is not fair.
And Klay.
And Klay. And Klay
Yeah.
Klay was ridiculous at the time.
Yep.
He's a
Yep.
shadow of what he was, but he was ridiculous at his prime. I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, first ballot, no problem. This guy
Correct.
he's plays on the same team as Curry, yet has most of the records. Like most of the oh my god moments, right? I mean, this
Yep.
guy Scott, he scored 60 points in 3 quarters.
Yep.
Only dribbling like 20 times in the entire time.
Yep. Yeah. 38 points in a quarter.
37 points. I was there. I was there at the game.
Yeah,
That was
37
points in a quarter. And then, he did that. And then he also has the most 3-pointers. Yeah, I think he's tied with somebody else, but he has, a record for the most 3-point. And this is on the same team as Curry. So it's ridiculous. So I agree with you, bro. That's the thing that we were all talking. I mean, this guy he's very, very into his shooting. He's like, you have to be good in shooting to be in the NBA and win championships, which is a far cry from my conversation I had with Gary Payton, senior at the store when I asked him about the Warriors when they first won the championship, before they won the championship. Hey, what do you think of the Warriors? And he's like, oh man, name me one jump shooting team that can win the NBA championship. I'm like, what? And they sure enough ended up winning. And
Yep,
now,
yep.
every team is striving to go at the time when the Warriors started this trend is 3-pointers, and everybody started shooting 3-pointers. That's why you're seeing the NBA today of 3-pointers just being hucked every freaking game 40 or 50 times is because of the Warriors. The Warriors
All right,
changed the way the game's played, and
all right,
shooting at the time was the key. So I
all
agree
right.
with you, bro. I don't think
All
that,
right, so here's my best effort though, Eddie.
okay, go ahead. Come up with a
All right,
team.
at point guard, Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
At 2 guard, James Harden.
Okay.
At the 3, LeBron James.
Yep.
At the 4, Anthony Davis.
Okay.
And in center, I'll put Giannis.
Okay. They
Th
would
that
be a
would
problem.
that would be my
They
best that would be my best attempt to beat those Warriors.
That would be a problem. That I agree with you. That's a problem. So, okay, then what would happen is that Clay would go on Kyrie and try and neutralize him. Kevin Durant would more than likely be guarding LeBron James. You have Zaza Pachulia would have a hard time with Giannis for
Yes, he
sure.
would. Yes, he would.
Draymond Green is the free agent that you can kind of put on anybody
And
at that point.
Anthony Davis or yep,
Yeah, yeah.
or Giannis.
Or Giannis. Yeah, you could so depending on it, but the one problem is Curry. Curry maybe would go on Harden, you know?
Yeah, I think he would because
Yeah.
Harden doesn't play any defense, so on the way back.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. But
Yeah,
yeah, you know what? That's not a bad call, man. That's a pretty good roster construction
yeah.
there.
That's
Would
my
you
best attempt that I could put together for
Let me ask you, would you put Luca instead of James Harden?
not Luka at that age.
Okay.
Luka later, I would.
Okay.
Luka a couple of years into it, I would, but not in that particular year.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
hey, for those of you, the Warriors fans that are listening to our show, we love to hear your thoughts. A
yeah,
constructed team that you think that could beat the Warriors, the Kevin Durant Warriors. Okay, just the starting five. All right. Now, Twan came up with a pretty good call. We want to hear some of yours. Post those on the comments when you see us on any of those platforms that you can post a comment. Please do so. We love to hear your thoughts. Now, all right, bro. Now the Thunder are widely considered to be the next Warriors kind of
yes,
dynasty. Okay.
yes,
Now, they've already won one championship last year. They're the number one seed again this year. They are essentially the same team with maybe, Jared McCain. They made a trade for him, that he's on the team now. And other than that, not much has changed. Okay. Now that they run into health issues this year because Jalen Williams missed a lot of time this year. Isaiah Hardenstein missed a lot of time. Alex Caruso missed some time. Jalen Williams, both missed a lot of time. So, the one constant has been Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He hasn't missed much time at all. He's been a workhorse of a player, and he's probably odds-on favorite, to be MVP again. Although there's probably some discussion on that because you could probably say Nikola Jokic probably deserves it, but there's a lot of voter fatigue on Nikola Jokic because he's
yep,
all up there, right? So, and it's real. These people that get tired of seeing the same players are like, let's just give it to somebody else. Let's just give it to Shea again. They're the best team in
yeah,
the league, right? So likely he's going to get it. But if you look at the current starting lineup of the Thunder, okay, you have Shea
yes,
Gilgeous-Alexander, you have Lou Dort, you have Jalen Williams from Santa Clara as a small forward, you have Chet Holmgren as a power forward, and then you have Isaiah Hartenstein. Now,
yes.
using today's team, the same thing. If you go ahead and scour the NBA, come up with a team that you think that could beat this team.
Okay. So for me, because we've had this discussion already, and I've had a little bit of thoughts around this.
Yes.
So for me, I'd start with Joker. So
Okay.
Joker
For
would
sure.
be, Joker would be my center.
Yes.
Wemby would be my power forward.
Absolutely.
Giannis would be my 3.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a
Curry
long team, man.
Curry would be my 4.
Interesting.
Okay. And for my 5,
This be a 2 guard, man.
yep, I'll go with Anthony Edwards as my 2, not my 5. For my
Yeah,
5th
yeah.
player, I meant. Yeah.
Okay,
So I'll go
so Anthony Edwards is your,
Ant-Man, Steph, Giannis, Wemby, Joker. I think that team would annihilate the Thunder.
and no Luca.
Mm-mm. No, I think I'd rather have Anthony Edwards. He's a better 3-point shooter.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
could argue that Luca might be better than Curry. Now,
true, true.
yeah,
Uh, okay.
but it's hey,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
no, no. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
but
Go with
Curry,
Luka. I could go with my underground favorite, Tyrese Maxey. You know, I'm a big Tyrese Maxey guy.
yeah,
I
yeah,
like him quite a bit. But
yeah,
no,
but
I think for this year, that's a fair statement. I think you take Luka. My only concern about Luka is he, and again, we're getting to the nitty
ball
gritty.
dominant, very ball dominant.
He's very ball dominant, and Curry's
Yes,
not. You know,
yes.
Curry's not. So Curry can play off the ball. Curry can play point. There's a little bit more
There's more,
flexibility there.
yeah, and the
You
thing
know,
is that there's more gravity with Curry.
correct,
The
correct,
defenses all still guard him 30 feet out, right? And the thing is,
exactly,
what makes him really hard to guard is that he's probably even harder to guard when he doesn't have the ball. Because
exactly.
that mofo is moving all the time, dude.
Yep,
That guy is nonstop. I mean, he just,
yep.
dude, it's a known thing that players just get gassed.
They-
You heard about Dellavedova. We've talked about this before. That guy needed an IV and went to the
Yep.
hospital after he guarded
Dude,
Curry.
you look at the Houston game. He's been out 26 games.
Yes,
He comes back, and the Rockets won't leave him alone. They
yes,
will not break away from him.
yes,
And when you look at that squad, Wemby can shoot the 3, Joker can shoot the 3, Edwards can shoot the 3, and Curry can shoot the 3. Giannis is capable of shooting the 3. He's not very efficient at it, but he's capable of it. But you got 4 3-point shooters right there. I mean, dude, like for me, and like I said, if you have Luka, he's going to dominate the ball, and then he's going to pass it at the last minute. And I think
yes.
that's going to be counter. I'd rather go with somebody like Tyrese Maxey or even Cade Cunningham if you want to run him kind of as a point. You could do that. I'd rather go with someone like that than Luka, because he's gonna hog the ball. It's gonna be really hard.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that'd be my only argument. But Luka's a great player. You know, he obviously they could win with him as well.
What's interesting that you didn't put Shea Gilgeous-Alexander in that.
Oh, he's on the
Playing
Thunder.
against. Yeah, he's
On the
playing.
Thunder. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
we're trying to be. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep,
forget
yep,
that. Forget that comment. What about
yep.
Bam Adebayo? 83
No,
point
no,
scoring and
no.
Bam
Sorry.
Adebayo.
But who's Bam replacing in that front line? Really?
Right? No, I know.
No,
I know. I'm just throwing that
no,
name. Right?
no,
Just
I know.
as to consider.
No, I know. I
Yeah,
know. But to me,
interesting. You know,
no.
but you know what's interesting, bro, is that the Thunder, they're a problem, and they're a
Yes,
very different team than the Warriors were back in the day. The Warriors were
yeah,
all about shooting, okay, and they were a problem because they spread the floor, and other guys can cut to the basket, get easy buckets, all that stuff, right? They created the NBA that we have right now. It's
correct.
starting to shift though, and it's because the Thunder have shifted that. The Thunder's success of having a bunch of two-way positionalist guys, right, that are long, athletic, play fast, can shoot, but not as well as the Warriors, but they can shoot. And they have a guy who is just crafty at drawing fouls, just like
Yes,
James Harden, right?
yes,
So that's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. So he's
yes,
getting easy buckets a lot. But what's interesting is that you came up with a team pretty quick. And
yep,
that team that you came up with, I would say they're a problem. I think they could take this team. I think so.
yeah.
But
I
it was harder to do with the Warriors. And I think it's the style of play is probably the main reason why.
it was, but also Eddie, I will say this, and I'll be honest. We have never in the history of the NBA had 2 big men like Joker and Wemby.
Yes. Yes.
We have, and that's a big, if Joker and Wemby were in their prime when you asked me that question for the year of the
Yeah, that's the problem.
those 2 guys in a nutshell are the problem.
Absolutely.
You know, because as much as the Thunder is changing the way he plays ball, Giannis is going to change it beyond that. Like, because I mean, not Giannis, sorry, Wemby. Wemby's going to
Wemby.
change it beyond that because that dude, he's a freak, dude. And
He is a
if that
freak.
dude, yeah, if that dude doesn't get hurt, to me, you're looking at the top two centers of all time.
No, I agree. I agree. You know, you probably watched all the Warrior games, but
Yeah,
you know, Mullen was saying the exact same thing. Chris
yeah,
Mullen is, you know, he's our post game guy. He's one of the guys that covers all of the Warriors broadcasts for the local station here, and I like the way you know says things. He's very really
yeah,
good at it. Yeah. But he said you're going to see a guy here that's going to win multiple MVPs, multiple defensive player of the year at the
yep,
same time potentially,
yep,
and MVP, you know, MVP, defensive player of the year, and championships. He's like, you probably, if this guy stays healthy, we're gonna see probably considered one of the best that we've ever seen play this game.
yep,
And he's
and
only in year 3, bro. Okay?
no, and this could be the first year you see that defensive
Yes.
player of the year and MVP,
Yep.
and not to knock, but Joker is very talented, but he's always been very kind of nonchalant about
Yes.
the NBA.
Yes.
Wemby is very homed in.
Yeah, and he
He
wants
is
to be the
very
best.
focused. Yeah,
He
he is
wants to
very
be the
yeah.
best. He
So
wants to be the best.
I pray. I say that, because, prayers aren't meant for this, but I pray that the guy has a very healthy career because I want to
Me
see
too.
him. I
I
want to
like
see
it.
him
I like
play.
his demeanor.
Yeah,
I like him. I like
no,
him. I like him.
that dude is just. It is at times it's like I'm looking at an 8-foot point guard running, and it's just blows my mind. I'm like, dude, that's just not even fair.
I
It's like
know,
not even fair what he's doing.
dude.
And
Yeah, and did you see the game when the Spurs played against the Nuggets and then, Joker won the game-winning shot, like,
yeah,
over Wembanyama?
yep, yep,
Unbelievable how he did that.
yes,
Wembanyama was way up there, and
yeah,
Joker just threw it up there like nonchalant, like he
yep,
could do it all day, and
yep.
he scored on him, man, just like
Soft
that.
hands, bro. Soft hands.
Dude,
No,
he's a
Joker's a talent. Joker's a very talented player. He's a very skilled player. But
absolutely,
Wembanyama's a freak. Like he's just,
absolutely.
he's got the best nickname, the alien, because that's exactly what he is, dude. That dude is an alien.
You know, and I would say that if you could have Joker's basketball IQ in Wembanyama,
Oh,
that's the ultimate,
yeah, yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
because but, Wembanyama can pass, but not like Joker.
No,
Joker's
no,
he's unbelievable at the way he passes.
no.
He's
He's
unbelievable,
that.
dude.
He's a natural.
Yes.
The way he does things is just natural. The way
Yep.
Wemby does is he's just bigger and longer
Yes.
than every.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
Joker, like you said, I mean, it's like it's comes so easy to him. It just looks everything looks so effortless to that guy. And dude,
Correct.
you know, I played down low, and the shots that guy throws up there down low, he's like automatic. He's
Yeah.
like he's like the way Kareem was with that sky hook, you know?
Yep.
You get the
Yep.
ball down there, it's like, it's over, man. He's gonna
Yeah.
score. And it's the same thing
Exactly.
with this guy. But he doesn't do
Exactly.
it a hook. He just does it all kinds of
Yeah.
crafty shooting
Yeah.
ways, and he's unbelievable, dude.
It's like he's
But
shooting with 2 pillows on his hand. It's like they're
yeah,
2 pillows.
yeah.
Just
And,
poof,
I'm not
poof,
trying to
poof.
draw
No, that and
a
that's
compare.
and so to me, yeah, so to me, getting back to your original that's the big difference when we couldn't there was not 2 players like that when the Warriors were
Yes,
in 2018. There just
yes,
weren't. And
yes.
I'm gonna as long as Wemby stays healthy, and as long as Joker decides to play maybe another 3 or 4 seasons, I think we're looking at the 2 greatest centers of the NBA of all time.
Yep, yep. No, I agree. I agree with you, man.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting because we have this, our player greatness index.
Yep.
A Joker's number was actually pretty high, and
Yep.
I think the one that he needs to get more championships to get to the elite level, like the Chamberlain and Bill Russell,
Yep.
Kareem, Jordan, those guys were all kind of considered the highs of our player greatness index. But Joker, he's gonna only climb, and if he wins championships, that he's gonna be in that echelon for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Wembanyama, man, I wanna see how this guy's, player greatness index looks. Maybe we could do it, like, next year to see how it is, right, compared to because it's all relative based on how many years they're playing. So you
Correct.
can come up with a number now that's only gonna grow the more years that they play, but if they're contributing at a high level right now, the greatness index is gonna show that
Correct.
they're already a pretty
Yeah.
formidable player, right?
Yeah.
So,
No.
so hey, all right. So that's it for that segment. But before another thing that I don't have here listed that I wanted to ask you about. So this is Warriors talk. The
Yep.
Warriors are getting ready to play in the play-in. We talked about that in the last segment in our walk around the NBA segment about the likelihood of them more than likely going to be playing the Blazers. We talked about the Clippers. I thought they might be a better matchup for the Warriors. You're saying the Blazers would be a better matchup. Either case, all right. Now we lost Moody, we've lost Jimmy Butler. We have, these new guys, the young guys have been playing a lot and got a lot of playing time and have gotten better. Okay.
Mhm.
We have Santos has gotten better. We've gotten Pajemski's gotten better. Moody got better, but he got hurt, right? So he's not part of this anymore. Kristaps Porzingis is not playing. Curry is back in time for the play-in. You have DeAnthony Melton, who's been playing really well. You have Guy Santos, who's been playing pretty, he's been
LJ Cryer.
right.
LJ Cryer.
LJ Cryer's been playing. Now you have this guy Bassey,
Yes.
Charles Bassey,
Yes.
right? Unbelievable. This guy has been in the league for, I don't know, 4 years, 3 or 4 years. He played on the Spurs. I remember he got drafted by the Spurs, and then he's been on multiple different teams. And the thing is, he's one of these guys that's high energy, you know, that can't shoot very well, but he does all the dirty work. That's what
Right.
the Warriors sorely need very well.
Right.
So my question to you, with the team as constructed right now for this play-in push, what do you see happening with this team, man? Do you see them advancing past the first round of the play-in and then getting to the second round and maybe potentially beating that team? Would it be the Suns or the
Yeah.
Clippers?
So assuming Horford's back,
Yep,
assuming Porzingis is playing,
yep.
assuming Curry's playing,
And
I
Seth
think
Curry
yes,
too. Seth Curry's back. Seth Curry.
Seth Curry as well. I think that what I see for the Warriors is beat the Blazers, beat the Suns, take 2 from the Thunder, you're out.
And then that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
They win 2 against the Thunder. That's the way that I'm feeling right now. That's their best case. But if any of those players aren't jiving or they're not, they haven't had enough time to kind of sync up, they'll lose in the very first game against Portland.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is that they need to be shooting well, man.
They do.
They have to. They have to shoot well. They can't.
Correct.
And the thing is that they're still a turnover machine, man. A turnover machine, and it's annoying. It's so
Yeah.
freaking annoying. And you would think that they could fix that. Kerr's just said he just gave up, man. It's like screw it, man.
That's the one thing. Curry came back. I saw him throw 2 or 3 passes,
Huh.
just pretty much to. And we love Curry. Curry's the best, but Jesus, Curry, just stop. And when him and Draymond get on their little
Yes,
pedals, what I would call the opposite of a Curry flurry, Curry turnovers,
yeah.
it's so infuriating because
Oh, it's annoying.
not only that they're turnovers, they look like they don't even care what they're doing.
Yes,
It's just like, come on, dude, you do it right at the dude. Like, what were you thinking? And that is really, really frustrating.
yes,
And that's why I like players like Pat Spencer and LJ Cryer and they're more protective of the ball.
yes,
And I like that. So if we can kind of infuse them somehow, obviously they're smaller players, they're a risk on defense. They're not as good. I mean, Cryer's good. Pat Spencer's been a little iffy on the 3-point line.
yes.
But if we can get them somehow protecting the ball, and that's where I think personally where we miss Jimmy Butler the most.
No, yeah, because it's turning the ball over. He values
He was very good with the ball, and he would bring the ball up. No one would question it. He'd start the offense. Like everything would kind of go through Butler, and that's where, to me, I don't miss his scoring, even though we need it. I don't miss the amount of fouls that he gets, even though we can use it, and he slows down the tempo of the game. I miss his ball control because that's where he mattered the most. He changed the tempo of the game, and the ball was more protected.
Yep. Now that we've seen more games with Porzingis with the Warriors, he hasn't played. That was his first game, I guess, with Curry. He's played 2 games with Curry. Right?
Correct.
They've lost both games.
Yep.
No. Do you?
Oh, they beat the Kings. They beat the Kings.
Oh, sorry, the Kings.
Yeah.
They beat the Kings. They should have lost that game though. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They lost the first game, then they almost won that first game too, but then lost the second game. And again, they almost lost to the Kings, and the Kings blatantly tanked to
Correct.
avoid winning that game so that they
Correct.
get their better draft position. But
Yeah.
we had a segment a few weeks back about Porzingis versus Butler, and now that you see, 2 games with Curry, what do you see as the evidence that this could work out, with Porzingis being on the team along with Butler next
So so for whatever reason, Porzingis's 3-point shots weren't as efficient when Curry was playing
Yes,
than when he hasn't been playing.
yes.
So what I would like to see is him have a pretty decent 3-point shooting night while Curry's on the
Well, Curry's doing it at the
while
same time.
Curry's doing his thing, and then I can give you a better answer. Right now, it's looked, in my opinion, a little rough.
Yes,
He
I agree
actually
with you.
what's interesting is Bassi, he looks a lot more comfortable with Bassi than he does with Porzingis. Just the 2 games that we have as a sample size, that he's looked a lot better of a fit. Bassi
Yes,
has.
yes,
But Porzingis, if his stroke is in, you know, I think Porzingis is not a 5, he's a 4. He doesn't box out down low. I mean, Bassi's a 5. You
right.
know, uh, you know, um, Horford is a 5. Those
Yes,
guys can hold down. So to me, the way I would look at it is you have Horford as the starter, Bassi as the backup, Porzingis as the starter, Post as the backup, and then that's your big man rotation right there. And then you got Curry and Draymond kind of alternating, and then the Lilliputians take over. We got about 1 million of them. You take your pick, bro. Curry's on the court. But the other one, is it Seth? Is it Pods? Is it Pat Spencer? Is it Cryer? It's a whole potpourri of little people everywhere just running
big
around.
time, big
Yeah,
time, big
yeah.
time.
Well, that part I can't even make sense of that. It's whoever's hot that night. But those four, I think we've got solid big men and solid backups. You
Right.
know, and I think that they fit because Post is kind of like Porzingis, and Horford and Bassi are sort of. Bassi plays a little more bully ball than Horford does, but they're
Yep.
kind of similar. And I think that's a good. And so if we can get those guys playing, I think that, to me, that's a recipe for success. Not to beat the Thunder, but I think they could get into the playoffs and win a couple of games.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and if they beat the Thunder in a couple games and actually played well against them even when they lose,
yep,
that's hope. That's hope for the
yep,
future. For
yep,
next year in particular, when we get
yep,
Butler back, right? When we get,
yep.
Moses Moody back. And then, who else, what's gonna happen in the offseason? They're gonna have the
Correct.
draft, right? They're gonna have, they still have these 4 draft picks that they're gonna try and package up to get somebody for Curry's last hurrah, which will likely be next year will be the last dance, bro. All right. It's the last dance for sure.
Yeah, it will be. I'm still curious if Kerr's going to coach next year. And if he does coach next year, I'm going to be really curious as to what his contract is. Is it a 1-year contract? Is it a 2-year contract? Is it a 5-year contract? I'm going to be really curious on the terms.
I
Uh,
agree.
right now, if you asked me this question, 5 or 6 shows ago, and if I had to bet $1, I'd bet he's not coming back for next
Yeah.
season. That's kind of the way that I feel. But if they're going to bring all these players in, re-sign Porzingis, bring in someone like Kawhi or something like that, or try to, then you're going to need a seasoned coach like Kerr to handle that. And
Yep.
I don't see anybody else that could do as good a job as he could at coaching that team. So I would suspect that he has another year, but the younger guys, that's gonna require a different hand.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think if Kerr were not to be re-signed, do you think that anybody on Warriors bench right now would be the lead guy? Do you think Terry Stotts would be the guy? Do you think Jerry Stackhouse would be the guy?
So I've seen Stotts Portland teams. He's an okay coach,
Yep.
but he hasn't really had a lot of success in the postseason.
Yep.
I'd probably, if I had to pick between the coaches on the bench, I'd probably lean towards Stackhouse. I still don't think he's perfect for it, but
Yeah.
I'd lean towards Stackhouse over Stotts.
Yeah, I mean, he's never been a head coach either,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that doesn't matter to freaking Lacob, because
Well,
Steve Kerr was never a freaking head coach either,
either. Correct.
right? And
Correct.
Stackhouse seems to have the locker room's, ears. He
Yep.
seems to be that guy who can get in their, just have a voice. He has a voice. He
Correct.
seems to have a lot of respect from the players that are currently on the team. So
Correct.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would go with Stackhouse, but to me, if we're gonna keep Butler, Porzingis, Curry and Draymond, then you got to keep Kerr. To
Yeah.
me, like you got to keep him if you're going to keep those guys.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
and but if you're not, if you're going to break it all apart, and one of the plus sides, if they happen to lose in Portland in that first playing game, then we're in the lottery draft, and then Yaxel will come, and I'll be happy that way too. So, win for Ed.
I love it. I love it, man. I love it.
For me, it's a win-win, bro.
Right on, man. Well, hey, man, that's our show, man, for this week. Again, this is our Warriors Talk segment. We now broke it off into two different shows. This one will probably air sometime over the weekend, probably like on Sunday night is typically when we go ahead and air it on all the different platforms. But we're here every week, two different shows. This is Warriors Talks brought to you by grumblingsmedia.com. You can find us there as well as wherever you find your podcasts. I'm Eddie Aparicio. This is my co-host, Anthony Tuan Corral, and we're also known as the Cisco Kids. We appreciate you listening, and if you like our show, please give us a thumbs up, and we'd love to get your comments. Love to get your comments and questions. You guys have been doing that more often lately, and we appreciate it. So thanks for the listen. And if you like our show, pass it on to some of your friends and family who might enjoy this total hoop talk. This is what we all talk about. We're just
Nonstop.
hoops, mainly NBA, but we can talk about other hoops too, but it's mainly NBA. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Have a good rest of the week. And until then, take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Hey, everybody, this is William Del Pilar, founder of Grumblings Media, and I want to say thank you for watching our content. If you want to support our all-volunteer efforts at Grumblings Media, smash the subscribe button right here. 100% free, and please consume and share our great content. Click either one of these two boxes for more of our work.